question.
You feel confident about them staying in the state level, but is there a chance that they may not?
There's a chance. Now, under the law, the judge doesn't have the authority. The judge in this case does not have the authority to transfer their custody to the federal courts. She can simply sentence them at the federal level. The custody decision is a statutory decision that's already been made in the statute. The law says that these men stay in state custody.
What is your impression of the motion Travis's attorney filed, specifically writing that he fears for his life and that he'll be killed if he is dropped off of the state prison?
State prisons across the country, but particularly in the state of Georgia, are dangerous. They're dangerous for all inmates. And we hope that the condition of these Georgia state prisons improves so that constitutional facilities can be provided for all potential inmates. But these men should certainly not be given exceptional treatment and be allowed to avoid the possibility, the fear that all inmates have when they enter Georgia state prisons, that it's a dangerous, violent place.
And what they're asking is pretty similar to the plea deal that was denied. I mean, what is Ms. Cooper-Jones' opinion about that?
Well, they're asking for relief from the court without the support of the Department of Justice as they had in their first plea deal. And Ms. Cooper-Jones was most concerned about anybody who says that they're advocating on behalf of her son, or her family. To be clear that these men appropriately should spend their sentence in the Georgia State Prison.
How they been holding up lately?
The men?
The Miss Cooper-Jones and family.
Yeah, thank you. This has been a really difficult time. Now that the media has moved on, a lot of the national dialogue and discussion has moved on. We like to think that justice was done here. This was the best possible result that we could ask for. It's what Ms. Cooper-Jones asked for from the beginning, that each of these men would be serving life without the possibility of parole. But it still doesn't provide her son back. It still doesn't provide her the emotional relief that she really needs to spend some time healing now. And we're hoping that her and her family are on the road to recovery.
Now, I want you to talk about real quick the emotional journey this took, because this happened years ago, and here we are now. And some people said, I didn't think they were going to make it this far. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. This has been extremely difficult for the family. Wanda Cooper-Jones buried her son back in February of 2020, and she made a commitment at the time that she would fight for justice for her son. And still almost 3 months went by without the men who were responsible for his murder being arrested or charged or even criminalized. Once they finally were, there was no guarantee in a South Georgia state court, or even at the federal level, since there had been no history or really precedent for an aggressive federal prosecution. There was no guarantee that any form of justice would be had. And this has been an extremely long, emotionally taxing process for the family.
Ms. Cooper-Jones mentioned that this was some form of justice for, her family, but this still doesn't account for the many families out there for whom justice has not been served. So, moving forward, how do you think this case sets precedents, especially what we're about to see here unfold at the federal level? How do you think that sets precedents for these types of crimes moving forward?
Well, we saw something unique in this case. We saw 2 convictions, both at the state and federal level. In addition to the convictions, we saw the laws change. We saw the stand your ground defense, essentially the Jim Crow relic that existed in Georgia State, law be removed from the books. We saw a new hate crime statute. Wanda is comforted by the idea that her son's life will mean greater access to justice and a greater equity within the system. But she continues to stand with the families of families like Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, and so many families across the country who have not received justice. And so for her and for her family, they're now a part of a community that they never asked to be a part of, but they will stand out as voices for the unheard. All right, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.